Yeah.
Um, I don't know why I have escape set to both. Yeah, it's recording your audio. Like, just say anything
Okay.
again.
No, just
Yeah.
because last time it didn't.
Yeah, I felt like I checked earlier. Um,
All right, pick back up where
so
you were.
I forget where it was. So the Undertaker doesn't go to the Hall of Fame ceremony, and the Hall of Fame ceremony until this year was the night before WrestleMania. So someone on Reddit, like tongue in cheek, said before WrestleMania that Undertaker has lost his competitive advantage because now everyone is going to be well rested going into WrestleMania. Before, his opponents would be tired from staying up late and going to the Hall of Fame ceremony. But not this year. This year is different. And of course, he loses this year. So maybe that was it. So maybe they'll put him in the Hall of Fame, but maybe he doesn't show up. That's like his thing.
Mhm. Maybe,
Maybe.
but no, I
Yeah.
think we will get that closure. I don't think that closure should be part of Raw,
Yeah,
though.
no. You're right. It is much better for the character, and they can give him as a person the same level of respect next year at the Hall of Fame ceremony. And then
Yeah.
he even gets to be in WrestleMania next year.
So,
He's probably the guy whose music's gonna play. He's gonna be center stage and walk out after everyone else's stuff goes off. Like definitely.
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I
And like
just
people will want one last Undertaker entrance at WrestleMania,
yeah, and they'll get it.
which
I
that'll be fine, long as it's not part of any wrestling angle. I think a year removed, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine. People will be excited.
Tonight, mhm.
Yeah. I'm just I feel like they could have retired the Undertaker better. And I feel like they could have handled the ending of the streak better. And those two things combined make me almost like
I
angry because I'm
I
very
don't think they with him losing the streak, I don't think they could have retired him better.
see. I'm more
After
up.
WrestleMania 28, I think a good retirement was blown for The Undertaker.
I'm less upset about this being his retirement match, even though it was really to like give it like a really oversimplification that makes it sound bad. It's really just him getting punched a whole lot and then retiring.
Right, but like I don't know how much he could do. And that's sort of why I think my expectations were unrealistic.
Yeah.
I don't know if he should have
They
even wrestled this match. Like it was probably safer for Seth to wrestle than Taker, and that's not exaggerating.
no, yeah. Like you're probably right. I'm more upset about the mishandling of the streak than I am about the retirement. Cause like the retirement is fine. I'm not
Yeah.
upset. I just think it could have been done better. The streak, I think they just really blew it because they didn't
I
do
think
anything with it.
no, I agree with you. The problem is they can't write this stuff in hindsight. Like they can't write out 12 years of wrestling. They can't write out like this absurd length of time. And that's where you run into like the problem and what's cool about wrestling is like what's cool about it is it's all happening like fairly live and fairly in the moment compared to any other TV show. But at the same time, things are going to be kind of shitty because they're going to have missed opportunities and like stuff like that is going to happen. So that they created this like they created this impossible to resolve situation where like if they want it to be right place, right time, which is what's perfect in wrestling, it has to be perfect. And it's so hard when Undertaker is the pedestal for everything.
Right. I don't think you need to be able to write 12 years ahead or even 3 years ahead to know that billing Brock Lesnar as this unstoppable monster who's in, like you said earlier, echelons ahead of everyone else, and then putting the streak on him, there's no way that you're ever going to get off him. You already have him super pushed, and just
Yes.
adding the streak doesn't do anything for him.
Right.
You can still do the same thing. Would it be less exciting? Yes, Like if you have someone else end the streak, the excitement is now elsewhere. It's on someone that could now be up in Brock's tier. Like, oh, this guy
Right.
beat the
Yeah.
Undertaker. Now he's up here with Brock. Then you have Brock and them fight it out. And
Mhm.
then as that's going on, you can build other people up to put them into the title picture.
Yeah.
You don't need to then bring in someone else to be like, oh, well, we're just going to insert this guy way up here where Brock Lesnar is,
Mhm.
and then drag them
Yeah.
both down. You can have all this upward momentum. Why am I turning green? You have all this upward momentum instead of having to drag people down to make your show like believable again.
Right. No, I agree. And then like the only other thing I would think of is who do you book Taker against at WrestleMania 30?
Yeah,
Which
that's
then I start to think like, why book him at WrestleMania 30? Which makes me think, why book him at WrestleMania 29 other than to appease CM Punk? And
that's
then we're just back at he should have retired at WrestleMania 28, which sucks, but I really think that
it's
would have been the best thing, even though you might have lost a couple years.
yeah, and in hindsight, that does sound like the way to go. But I'm saying like if you're booking WrestleMania 30, like you're already
Mhm.
past that point. You're at the
Yeah.
moment where you're gonna Undertaker's gonna be around longer,
Mhm.
and the perfect moment to retire him is gone. You Someone has to beat him. I think you could pick someone better.
I
I
don't,
don't know who's
yeah,
on the roster that's better, but
I don't,
I don't think you
you
take someone
don't do
who's
Brock.
right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
I
saying.
definitely agree with that.
I'm saying that since Brock was billed as being so much better than everyone else, it makes sense to put him in the match. It
Mhm.
does. But you could also easily say, because like the lead up for the match was like Brock just fights whoever he wants.
Yeah.
Brock and
You know
Heyman
what
can
could
pull
have
strings and do
worked?
whatever. They could have had them fight
Yeah.
someone else. They could have had a good match. Then you have someone else fight the Undertaker, and now that person, like I said, is now elevated.
You know what could have worked in hindsight? And Taker could have won this match.
What?
You do Taker Batista and you give Brock Batista's spot and keep the rest of WrestleMania the same.
Oh my god. Because the last time we saw Batista, he was getting booed out of an arena for wearing blue tights.
Right. But instead, now you have people remembering the WrestleMania 23 match, which was, with the exception of the Triple H and Shawn Michaels matches, one of, or probably Undertaker's best match. And now people are excited again. Now there's a nostalgia reason for Batista to be there. Taker can get his win. They'll probably do coming in. Batista can wear a suit.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
I
so
I think that fixes it, but there's no way to fucking know that without knowing all of the shit that happened leading up to WrestleMania 30.
right, like the two immediate problems that I see are one, Batista is sort of done with wrestling. He's off trying to be a movie star now and doing okay at it. And two, well, the other
Which is
problem with
why
that is I don't think he would come back to beat Undertaker because the reason that I said Roman
oh
Reigns
no,
before was
Batista
like,
doesn't beat Undertaker. Batista would
right,
lose
right,
to
right, he
Taker.
loses,
Reigns
yeah,
would still win.
right.
Like Reigns would win at WrestleMania 33. The only thing that would be different is Brock
Is
and Batista's spot on that
right.
card.
Okay, that makes sense. The other thing is,
And the result of Taker's match, I
yeah,
guess.
I'm following now. The other problem is I think that this is just
You're
playing in.
frozen.
You can't hear me? Am I back? You're frozen for me,
I
so I
got
don't
nothing.
think. Okay, I'm back.
All right, now. Yep.
The other problem is I think this is just the nostalgia problem, but with someone that was wrestling when I started wrestling, like when I started watching. So I think this might just be other people don't know who Batista is, who remembered him coming back for this one storyline where no one liked him, and now he comes back and he gets a shot against the Undertaker. Like why? And like it makes sense that he
But
loses that
that's
match.
that's why you have him lose. Yeah. Because then it's not a big deal, and the people who
Yeah,
it is nostalgia for like it.
yeah, and
I
it's
think.
yeah. See, again, this is like a hindsight move. It's much better.
Right? Yeah. No, you can't. They
But
wouldn't do this.
my main argument is that it makes sense to have Brock Lesnar fight the Undertaker. It doesn't make sense for him to be the person who ends the streak, and anyone else they had access to would probably have been better. I don't know for certain. It's impossible to really know, right?
Yeah. Right.
But I think they could have done it in a way that they're pushing people up in people's eyes instead of having to drag people down.
Yes. No, I agree.
Because now the streak went from being way up here to being just sort of gone.
Right. And I think like what I like about this WrestleMania is that they didn't try to make it the best WrestleMania of all time.
No, and I think by doing that, they make it a much better product.
Right. Yeah. Like WrestleMania 30 by itself, possibly best WrestleMania of all time. But like the Brock Lesnar thing really fucked this up.
Yeah.
So like I think moving forward that I think they should just like recognize when WrestleMania is not going to be the greatest show of all time and
And
to do
then
good.
just bill it as the ultimate thrill ride instead.
Right, exactly. Because like you can still have a great show, and this was a great show. I probably wouldn't put it in the top 10 or 12 WrestleManias.
I have not watched enough WrestleManias to have like a hierarchy, but
I'm just like
yeah,
spitballing offhand,
yeah,
but
I really for all the things that we just said that were negative, and we sort of blazed through all the matches that we thought were really good. I think this was like a great show still. Like I don't want this to get
right,
like muddled. I think this was a great show. I just
right.
think
I lasted 7 hours and didn't want to gouge my eyes out.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, there was only one moment where I was like, maybe I didn't want to actually buy the show and watch it, and then they hooked me right back again in like seven
Yeah.
hours. So
That being said, I don't know if my friends who were at last year and this year liked this one as much, but I think somewhat, but I think they liked it enough that like I think they were
yeah,
still entertained and would still come back if I do it again next year.
that's good.
Whereas like
It's
I definitely liked this one more than last year.
yeah, I definitely like this one more than last year. I don't know what it's like for someone who's it's like I sometimes try to make the argument that I'm a casual fan, and that when people are like, "Ah, Goldberg
You're
brought us
not.
for casual fans," I'm like, "I'm a casual fan. I
You're
watched
not
a
a
wrestling
casual
match in
fan.
like 6 months, and I'm totally not a casual fan." But like, it's hard. It's like it's hard for me to say like as like for the people that you were watching with your friends that had only maybe seen last year's WrestleMania, and that was it before seeing the WrestleMania. I don't know what they're really gonna like. As I explained earlier, they're like people were super hyped for Goldberg coming back, and I super don't get it. Like
Mhm.
it's hard for me to really remove myself from my situation and put myself
Yeah.
into like just a total naive situation where it's like I don't know anything about any of these things. Honestly, whenever I read someone writing like descriptions, like I sent or I put on Facebook the guy, it's like these guys were best friends. The magician came and they realized they didn't like each other. They're now fighting for a belt. Like I think that's funny to like see it phrased like that, but it's hard for me to be like actually that person who sees the match as that.
Right.
So I just think all of this would just be really absurd if I had no idea what was going on.
Because it is.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I like about it now.
Yeah.
I think that's not for everyone. And I think that the reason that I like it is because I like things that are sort of absurd and off the wall like this.
Right. And I think people do, but they don't when it feels like an inside joke.
Right. And
Think-
I don't
And I
think
think
this felt like an inside
WrestleMania plays jump rope with that line.
joke. That's a good way to put it. Because I don't feel like this was an inside joke so much. But it's hard
I
for me to
don't
really
either.
know.
I think you have to have more of an appreciation for wrestling for this one. But I don't think it was I think it still appealed
Yeah,
to
like
people who don't watch wrestling
because like the things that I'm
completely.
thinking are like so we both know that John Cena is very until this point was very outspoken against getting married. So you lose that sort of like angle going into that match where like you don't understand. You just know that these two couples don't like each other, and you see the video package. But you don't really understand like the like years behind it, the depth of his character being like, I'm not gonna, Rose, I'm married to the job.
I think the
But you
video
get the
package and
added benefit of seeing that moment happen, and it
Mhm.
still means a lot to you. Like
Yeah,
you're not losing much on all of these things. You're losing like, why is AJ Styles so upset? I'm sure a lot of people are upset that they don't get to be in WrestleMania. You don't know that AJ Styles was like on top of the game, and when he came in, everyone was excited.
right. But commentary put him over as possibly they said multiple times best wrestler in the company. I know when I was explaining that match, I said best wrestler in the company.
Yeah, so I'm
I think that that story was clear enough to wrestling fans that they could articulate what they were telling, which was best wrestler in the company, upset that they're not on the card, tries to get their boss to recognize this.
yeah, I guess what I'm getting at, like in general, is I can see the stuff that you like lose when you don't know what's going on in wrestling, like at all.
Yeah,
But I also see other things that you gain by not having that, if that makes sense. Like you're not
yeah,
gaining much,
mhm,
but you have. It's not just like it's not like we're way up here. We're like, oh, we're getting really rewarded, and they're way down here. It's like they're like here. We're way
yeah,
here. Like it's.
mhm, yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think you're onto something, and I think this card did a better job at meeting everyone in the middle, which
Yeah.
like is a ridiculous like not responsibility, but like a ridiculous.
Like
It's
goal
a
and everything.
ridiculous thing that they're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
and like this was good enough. It didn't hit on every cylinder. They didn't even have the resources. Like as far as star power, they did not have it this year.
No, they had the Gronk and Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah, and
And Pitbull.
and it was still fine. Like you still got your John Cena moment. You still like I think that part of WrestleMania still hit. You didn't have a moment that was Rock, Stone Cold, and Hogan in the ring together.
Right. Ooh,
But
see, maybe
I
that.
don't think it was missed. If they were to do it, it would have been half-assed this time.
Yeah, and see, I'm not a huge fan of those segments to begin with, as I think I made clear in our predictions.
Mhm.
But maybe this is more of like a thing that I enjoyed that I didn't realize until right now. All that. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I do really like that stuff. I don't like that it lasts a half hour. Like, but 10 minutes of them like awkwardly referencing a sex tape, it's fine and funny
Yeah.
because like I can say that to people at my part. Like the people who can't get that, like kids who shouldn't be hearing that won't get it at all, and that won't be said at those parties. Whereas
Yeah.
that will be funny for the people that that should be funny for. And
Yeah.
I think that's how this entire thing was. The things that were meant for certain people hit with those people.
Yeah, and like that in particular is like an example of something where people who are in on the in joke are getting a gain, and it's at no cost to people who are not in on the joke.
Right.
They're not like lost, hopelessly lost. It's just like a couple of lines. Well, it's like 10 minutes, but yeah,
Yeah. Or like, for example, last year, the Rock Cena thing lost any hardcore, like lost any wrestling fan who's watching Raw and SmackDown every week
yeah,
and like cares about these things. Gone. It worked for some people, but like you said, it lost too many people for it to be successful. Whereas I feel like this didn't lose anyone at any point. Like there was no point where this is going on too long. I don't
right.
care. I want what I want to happen.
Yeah, and like I'm not opposed to stuff like this in theory because as people explain to me, the counter is like wrestling, since it's not like a sport, you can have people who are past their prime come back and have these moments
Right. That's
because
what's cool about it.
right. It's like a unique thing to wrestling, and it's cool they do it. But it's just when they start losing people, when people start becoming disinterested, when it starts making people confused.
Mhm.
That's and that's the way they seem to be doing it for like a while. They were just sort of missing on those for
Yeah.
me. It was they were not doing it well.
Mhm.
That's the part I was more upset about
Yeah.
was that they were using it seemingly as an opportunity just to be like these people are better than the people we have now as opposed to
Mhm.
like, hey, look, isn't it cool that we can bring back these people that everyone likes for like another moment?
Yeah. I don't think they ever like I
I
know a
know they're
lot of
not saying, "Oh, let's just go
no,
squash
yeah.
the New Day," but that's how it feels. So they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
let's go squash the Wyatt family," but that's how it feels.
Yeah. And like Bray's gotta get something.
I know he needs this character. You know what? He
He's so
deserves
fucking good.
he deserves credit for how
It,
well he's doing, even though at every turn they seem to be sort of making the wrong decision for him.
right, yeah. Every year is his year, and every year it should be his year,
And it hasn't been
and
his year yet.
it never comes to fruition. Like
But he's
there
still
are so
finding
many
it also.
payoffs that I want because he's so good, and they just can't happen. And I thought this was the peak of the Bray character, and we didn't get the payoff.
You know what? I think.
And it's not even like one day we will. I think we're gonna
Oh
just be
yeah.
stuck in this, and I think it will be fine, and then he'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the thing is, they keep having these moments where it's like this should be the time, and it's not, and he keeps keeping it at a level where it should be the time, right? Like I think
Mhm,
other people in this situation would have fizzled out, maybe.
mhm.
Like they wouldn't continue firing on all cylinders the way he is, and then just
Yeah,
having interesting creative decisions
mhm,
move him
absolutely.
down a
And
bad
like,
path.
yeah, and like the interviews I've heard him in, he's still so optimistic and still has a great grasp on like how to portray this character, not only in the ring but in a 2017 interview with someone who's not in kayfabe, and
Yeah,
like, and can do that in a way where like he gets both like where he can still talk in character but give you what you want to hear about the towing the line stuff. And I think that's like we're never going to have someone like Undertaker again, but you need someone who's capable of doing that if you want to keep having these fictional characters and keep having people who aren't just guys. Because right now WWE has too many people who are just guys.
yeah. Well,
Cool
that's
guys
sort of
with like cool stuff going on.
yeah. Well, that's like sort of symptomatic of what they had going on. Like shortly after we started watching, they went from this. They were in this shift from going from characters to just people. So instead of getting like the Boogeyman or the Undertaker or people with like weird titles and weird shit going on, you just had like Kofi Kingston. He's Jamaican. We named him after the capital of Jamaica, and
Yeah.
coffee, which they grow in Jamaica. Like they just had all these sort of just all of their new characters were just people.
Yeah. And I wonder if they did that too prematurely because like now there's much more of a blur than back then. Like then I think it would have been fine to keep going. That that way their evolution could move on and they can figure out how to keep people kayfabed and real people at the same time. And now they're sort of trying to retcon it and figure out how can we get gimmicks back in, which is probably harder to do than having the fade.
Yeah, and even like Bray Wyatt, like he's just a guy, right? Like when he was on NXT, when it was like Tough Enough, he was just some dude. They
Mhm,
call him Bray Wyatt. It's like a normal name, but
mhm.
then they just give him this like cult leader gimmick that easily could have went nowhere. It could have just been like, yeah, he's like that weird guy.
Yeah, wears a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, and he's got like scribbles on his undershirt and a straw hat.
Mhm.
But then they really took it in this great direction. They really made it sort of like creepy and believable.
Mhm. And then
So
sometimes they miss.
yeah,
And
sometimes
when they miss, we all remember.
yeah.
Like this keeps it like they keep missing at the worst
Well,
times.
the thing is, he was just some guy with like one quirk added on. All these
Mhm.
other people were just some guy, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah, you only need one quirk.
being Jamaican isn't a quirk.
No, I
That's just a
know.
human thing.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'm just going back to that as the example. Being a cult leader is a quirk. You don't need to even elaborate that much at the beginning. Just be like, he's a cult leader. Give him a creepy promo. It'll work. Like,
Mhm.
come up with the details later. Just come up with one different thing. And I think that's what they're starting to do now. But I don't really. have another
Yeah.
example thinking about it.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of just people,
Right. It's tough.
which is fine. I mean, AJ Styles' quirk is that he's the best wrestler on earth, so I mean, I guess
Right.
that works.
Like, but like it works because he is.
Yeah,
It doesn't work when like I mean, I'm bitter about like I don't think Roderick Strong in NXT is that good. I don't think that's hitting. So like I think that's an example of it of best wrestler in the world not working.
yeah. And I'm totally not gonna remember their names.
Sanity?
No, it's
Okay. Because I was gonna say I'm like Sanity's very gimmicked.
I'm gonna say the Just Fists guys. Joe Flips Just Fists.
Oh, why can't I
Why can't I think of their tag
revive?
team? The Revival, yes, thank you. I'm like, their gimmick is just that they're brawlers. That's working. Dean Ambrose's like one weird quirk is that he was crazy, and now it's just that he's a brawler who is genre savvy. He watches the show. Kevin Owens' thing is just that he watches the show. Like Bailey's thing is just that she used to watch the show. Like the gimmick is so minor. Just give people one thing to work with.
Yeah.
Other than like you're Jamaican, and then later make him not Jamaican anymore. Like they salvaged that. New Day,
Rocks.
yeah. I was trying not to say it, and like they weren't even giving a bad angle. Their angle was they were just three. They were just like. I'm trying not to sound racist.
I wanna
Vince was just like three black guys. They're a tag team, make them like a church.
He is
choir,
though.
and they
Yeah.
owned it. You know,
He legitimately like I was listening to New Day talk about like Vince trying to pitch that character to them. There was a point where like Vince called them after Raw into his office to hear the theme song, and like Vince just went like Baptist church preachy and was like, because it was a gospel song originally, and like Vince was like tapping his feet all passionately, and they're just like, this isn't gonna work. And like they said like it's this great moment of him like bringing all of his Southern culture and like feeling like this is the best thing ever when it just wasn't.
Yeah, and I remember.
I really want to watch Raw.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Raw starting, so I guess we'll wrap up.
So
We've been rambling a little bit.
final thoughts on. I think it was all like listenable to stuff. Final thoughts on WrestleMania.
I think it was a good show. I would recommend that you watch it if you haven't. This is one of the better ones that I've seen. I feel like it's hard to say like this is like in my top five or whatever when it was yesterday. I think I need to have like time for it to settle and not just be like the last show that I watched. But I do think it was really good, despite some blemishes that we talked about, some big and some small.
Yeah.
I think it was really
Yeah,
good.
I think we're on par with if WrestleMania can't be the best show of all time, this is what it should be. I think this was a very honest show about what it should be, and I think because of that it hit exactly where it should have hit.
Yeah. I think it's sort of
Nothing was perfect.
Yeah.
But it wasn't gonna be. And I think they recognized that and they just let it be.
Yeah, I think it's insane to try to make like a perfect show or even just to every single year put on the best show ever. Which is weird to say that because that's exactly what if you had asked me like years ago, I would say like, no, of course that's what they do. It's WrestleMania, that's what it is. But it doesn't make sense to try and do that. It just makes sense to put on the best show you can right now.
Right. And where I am, 10 years of WrestleMania, where I am is now to be the day when I can pretend it's the Super Bowl.
I lost you. I lost you for a little bit there. Can you repeat that?
Okay. Yeah, like in general, like after 10 years of watching WrestleMania, like I'm just at the point where I want it to be the day I could pretend that it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want. That's the perfect analogy, I think.
Yeah. And I think
the best analogy you could come up with right now.
And I think that did this. They had a roller coaster.
they had a literal roller coaster. Oddly enough, it wasn't like an emotional roller coaster. It was like kind of up and up and up and then just down, but like still.
It was an emotional roller coaster. I laughed. I cried. I laughed.
Yeah, I
I
laughed,
was happy
cried.
because people got
I got angry
married.
at some point.
Yeah, I was angry. There were definite moments of anger from
Yeah.
me. I was broken at one point.
I felt like I felt like I went missing for a bit, like I just been like deleted or something.
Mhm.
Can we not end on that joke?
It was good.
It was good.
That's it. Yeah, WrestleMania was good. That's how we're ending this.
All right, let's go watch. Well, I'm not gonna watch Raw. You can go watch Raw. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for
I mean,
watching.
if you're gonna watch it tonight and not ever again.
I don't even know if I have. Maybe I'll put it online, like diving in.
All
Anyway,
right. Bye.
thank you guys for watching.
Goodbye.
Bye.